On today's Two on Your Side Town Hall, a new week starts with some new insight into the vaccination effort here in Western New York. A doctor who is helping lead the effort to get shots into arms will be our guest.
Plus answers to your unemployment questions with some confusion after the latest COVID relief bill in Washington.
And why are gas prices headed up so quickly here in Western New York and really all over the country? We'll talk with AAA to get some answers.
We have a lot ahead on our lineup over the next half hour. You can see it right there. We're glad you're along for the ride. I'm Kate Welshofer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Wooten. Exactly a year ago today, we were reporting on the first 3 confirmed coronavirus cases in our region. All of them were in Erie County. Fast forward to now, and we have more than 300,000 people with at least 1 dose of vaccine. We're getting there. The latest state data, as you can see, showing 22.5% of New Yorkers have gotten at least 1 dose.
There is good news for Western New York. Erie County is now overperforming that number by more than 1 percentage point, so it's highlighted in green. Genesee and Chautauqua counties are right about average, and then you have Niagara, Cattaraugus, Wyoming, and Allegheny counties. They are below the state average.
We welcome back to the show right now Dr. Nancy Nielsen. She serves as the chair of the Western New York Vaccine Hub. She is also Senior Associate Dean for Health Policy at UB's Medical School and a past president of both the Erie County Medical Society and the American Medical Association. Dr. Nielsen, it is great to have you back on. Thanks for your time.
Great to be with you again, Michael.
It's great to see you. And, usually by Mondays, we have a sense of how the week is looking in terms of how many vaccine doses are coming to our region. So do we have a sense today of how this week is looking?
We do. It looks pretty good, Kate. It looks like our weekly supply, if you take what we got this past week, in which they're giving out this week, and putting in arms, it's about doubled from about a month ago. So that's really good news. We're going to get a few thousand fewer doses this week. We kind of knew that, and we haven't gotten the J&J allotment yet. But basically, even to all the counties and to pharmacies and federally qualified health centers, vaccine is coming.
Dr. Nielsen, last week we talked about this. We heard from some county health leaders and the county executive in Erie County kind of upset that they were getting fewer doses this week. But it sounds like maybe it wasn't as bad as anticipated, right? The difference between what they were hoping to get and what they ended up getting maybe is a little smaller?
Well, let's be honest. What we hoped we would get and what we got has never matched. Okay.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit better now, but there have been some promises of, well, you'd get so much J&J, and it didn't come through. That happened in Niagara County, and they were concerned about that. And as Kate mentioned, or maybe it was you, Michael, the numbers are a little low in Niagara County, but that should be helped when the new mass vaccination site opens. And last I heard, it was supposed to open this Friday in Niagara Falls. So that will really help.
Meanwhile, Erie County has administered a little more than 5,500 first doses over the last 7 days. That is up from 1 week ago. Do you see the trends heading in the right direction, even with the doses being delivered in different increments?
Absolutely, Kate. There's no question. It's really trending in the right direction. And I think the county health leaders in all 5 of our Region 10 counties will tell you the same thing. What you will hear from doctors is, wait a minute, what about vaccine for me and my patients? And that continues to be a sore point with doctors. But right now we're trying to get the vaccine out very efficiently.
Dr. Nielsen, you mentioned just a moment ago that you don't have a sense yet of exactly how many Johnson & Johnson doses are going to arrive for this week. Any idea on what maybe you think that's going to be or when you're going to find out? And I'm curious, kind of bigger picture, how much the J&J vaccine, how much of a difference it's making, because as most people know by now, it is a one and done shot, at least for the moment, right? So you're not having to schedule people 3 or 4 weeks later to come back and essentially take up another slot. With the J&J, you come once and you're done.
One and done. That's exactly right. Well, the J&J, we knew that we were going to get a big infusion of J&J, and then there wouldn't be much of anything the following week. So that's where we are right now. We've been told by the state that the county health departments, some of them will get notified later this week that they will get J&J, and it is specifically designed for those who are homebound. for pretty obvious reasons. So that's what we're going to see with J&J. But we know the base allocations with the other two vaccines already for this week, and frankly, it looks good.
Dr. Nancy Nielsen, who among her many jobs is chair of the Western New York Vaccine Hub. As always, thanks again for being with us.
Thank you.
Great to see you once again. Let's turn right now to the multiple investigations underway right now into Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Yes, we're starting this new week. Investigators with the Attorney General's office are now interviewing alleged victims, and we should soon learn more about the impeachment investigation beginning in an Assembly committee.
A short time ago, I spoke with Ann Thompson, a longtime NBC News correspondent. She is covering this story for the national audience. Ann, thanks for joining us. It's great to see you again. Let's start with what we know about the investigation with the Attorney General's office, which, is really wasting no time in getting underway.
No, it's not, Michael. In fact, we have some late-breaking developments. Charlotte Bennett, who is one of the accusers, spent more than 4 hours with investigators today. They talked to her over Zoom. That comes from her attorney, Deborah Katz. She says beyond talking to them, she has shared 120 pages of documents as well as relevant text. So it shows that the attorney generals and independent investigators are serious and working very, very hard to find out just what happened in the executive mansion.
It's interesting that the vast majority of politicians of the governor's own party, Democrats, are saying that now is the time for him to resign. But at the same time, we get this new polling out today seeming to suggest that maybe voters aren't there yet.
Yes, the new poll comes from Siena College. It was done last week, and what it says is that half of all New York voters, they don't want Governor Cuomo to resign, and a smaller percentage, 48%, think that he can continue to govern while there are these multiple investigations going on, not only into the allegation of sexual harassment, but also remember how his administration handled the numbers of nursing home deaths during the pandemic. The bad news in that poll for the governor is there is a shrinking number of voters who want him to run for re-election. So that is the danger point.
Finally, Ann, we were talking earlier how quickly this story is developing, not so much by the day, but really by the hour or by the minute. What are you going to be looking for in the coming days and the coming weeks as this progresses?
Well, I think, Michael, one of the most amazing things about this story is you have all these Democrats, from assemblymen to state senators to Congress people to the 2 U.S. senators who have come out and said, Governor Cuomo, it's time to go. And those calls for resignation up to this point have had no impact. The question is, what is the breaking point for Governor Cuomo? And I don't think any of us know that yet. Talking to people who talk to him, they say he is determined. He does not believe he's done anything wrong, and he wants to wait until the Attorney General's investigation comes back before he makes any serious decisions, and that could take months.
Ann Thompson is a correspondent with NBC News covering this story. Ann, it is great to get your perspective and your reporting on this. Thanks very much.
Michael, it's always good to be with you.
And be sure to stick around for NBC Nightly News at 6:30, and we'll have the latest reporting then.